How easy would it be for someone to scam you?
Everybody thinks, oh, I could never be scammed, I'm way too smart.
This couple did all their homework.
She told our agency that she wanted us to be the parents of her child. Our dream was finally going to happen.
And still had their dreams shattered.
She was taking money from 3 different families in 3 different states.
So how can you be sure you don't fall victim to a scam?
That's right here, right now. Well, welcome. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been ripped off? Well, my guests today say they were, and their hopes and dreams were shattered. Susan and Anthony say that's what happened to them. And after years of trying to have children, they decided their only option was to adopt. So they signed up with an adoption agency. Makes a lot of sense, right? So you sign up with this agency. What happens after that?
Well, we signed up with an agency, and after several months with the agency, we decided to sign on with an online service that posts our website. And after about a week of being on the website, Michelle.
So this is all online then, in other words?
Right. Birth mothers, potential birth mothers can search the internet for parents that are, couples that are hoping to become parents for adoption.
I really didn't even know that this kind of thing. I thought that you had to have state, federal, local, 50 people involved, 500 lawyers.
Well, you kind of do. You have to, before you're able to go online, you have to have a home study done, and you have background checks, you're fingerprinted.
You went through all that?
Yes. You have to do that before you can get online. They ask for copies that you are certified to adopt.
Okay, so you got checked out, and you think because you got checked out, everything you're doing on the internet is okay, basically. I mean, there has to be a bond of trust somewhere.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we know that, we know that there's people out there who would scam couples.
Right.
But when we met Michelle...
this is Michelle Pogendick.
Correct.
And this is someone who contacted you back through the world of the internet, right?
Correct. She sent us an email after we were online for about 6 days.
Okay.
Sent us an email that she was expecting in November and that she was looking for a couple to adopt her baby, and if we were interested to give her a call. So we were really excited when we got the email, and we spoke the following day for 2 hours. Immediately, I felt the bond.
You did? You felt she was legitimate? That she was pregnant? Did she tell you she was pregnant?
She told us she was pregnant.
So she goes through a process of almost interviewing you to see if this is if this is the match for where she wants her child.
Yes.
So you meet her in person. She's interested enough. She likes to hear what
happened first was we talked to her that day, and she told us that she was going at the following Tuesday to find out what the birth of the baby was, and so we agreed that we decided we were going to call her that night. She tells us it's a girl, and then the following day she calls our agency, because that would be the next step to let them know whether or not she wants, if she wants to match with us. And she told our agency that she wanted us to be the parents of her child.
After all these years of trying, excited?
I was in total shock. I couldn't believe that our dream was finally going to happen.
That you were going to get a baby. That you'd been chosen. In this process that you guys had been chosen. And you're going to get a baby girl.
Yes.
Going to get a baby girl. So, takes a little turn here, doesn't it? She starts asking for money?
About a week after she decided to match with us. Well, actually, in our initial conversation, she did tell me that she would need some financial assistance, and we agreed.
To me, that would seem normal, right?
It is normal because
it is normal that you support the birth mother, right?
You can,
to a certain extent.
Right. The state laws regulate how much you can give them, when you can give them.
So they can't ask for an exorbitant amount and say...
You can't buy them a car. You can't buy them a house.
Okay.
You can help with their living expenses.
Now I got it. Were you ever suspicious?
Actually, no. Right from the very beginning, we felt fairly confident that she was going to place with us. The trust grew slowly over time, and there were a lot of phone conversations, and we established, we thought we established a bond, and it all culminated when we went to Atlanta, Georgia. And we had a fantastic time, and we laughed, we went sightseeing.
With Michelle.
With Michelle.
The whole time.
And Jeff as well.
Oh,
and,
this is her
and the kids.
husband.
Sure.
And she has other kids?
She has three kids.
She had a fourth child, which she placed for adoption in January.
So,
This is her fifth pregnancy.
so she probably, what, told you she placed the fourth child for financial reasons? Or?
Right, right. She placed the
So
fourth
now,
child.
I mean, even as skeptical as I am in the world of hunting down bad guys, I would have said, you met the husband, you met the wife, 3 kids.
Correct.
Seemed pretty kosher, right?
Yes.
We came back from Atlanta, Georgia, and we thought this was it. We actually went shopping. Babies R Us,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it was.
actually, Michelle and I
Babies.
registered
Right.
together.
Oh boy. Wow. Do you think that you just were naive, or do you think that you just wanted a baby so bad that you just forgot to cross the T's and dot the
No, I
I's?
don't think so.
we,
2 attorneys met with her in an adoption agency, and no one, she was very good. She's a very good scam artist,
Pro.
definitely.
More than a pro, right?
Yes.
Okay. You told us how this affected your lives. Take a look at this.
We felt betrayed. We were extremely disappointed. If she really didn't want us to be the parents of her child, then she should have told us that.
we were told that something like this was possible, that something like this could happen.
She made us feel sad. I mean, we thought we were going to have a baby, and we're experiencing that loss.
Well, it's unfortunate the way it worked out. I'm sure she was acting in her own self-interest. It was disappointing, of course.
We have toys, we have clothes, we have all the things for nursery. We just haven't started it yet, but we were planning on starting it in early September when the adoption fell through.
Hardest part's been not knowing what the future holds. It's not like we have a crystal ball we can look in and we can see that, 3-4 months, a year down the road that we're going to adopt.
She not only took money from us, but also emotionally drained us.
Again, if I think of all the people who don't deserve or didn't deserve to be parents, and you two really absolutely, just looking at that nursery and all the things you did. You're brave to come here today because people need to know about this. That's what we're doing here today. That's what we're doing here today. And what happened to Susan Anthony is heartbreaking, but we've got even worse news. They weren't the only victims, and there's a lot more to this story. That's coming up next. Stay with us. The guests on today's show say they've been ripped off and their dreams were squashed. Michelle Pogendick and her husband Jeffrey have been charged with what they did to Susan and Anthony. Now they're in jail right now, waiting for trial, and we contacted their attorney, but they declined to comment. I wish they'd had something to say. Now Susan and Anthony live in New York, but since Pogendick lived in Florida, they hired attorney Jeanne Tate from my home state to make sure everything was in order. Jeanne, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks,
I'm
John.
proud you're from my home state there. And you have quite a reputation as this type of lawyer, an adoption lawyer. Tell me how you got involved.
Well, Susan had contacted me one day and kind of shared the excitement of being matched with Michelle and Jeff, and asked me if I would handle the legal work necessary to finalize the adoption.
Because they're from New York, you're in Florida. What did you find out about this lady, about this Pogendick?
Well, one day I'd gotten a call from another adoptive mom who asked if I would handle her adoption. She said she'd met a birth mother on the internet and they were scheduled to meet, and she kind of wanted some tips. And as she told me the story, it started to sound very suspiciously familiar to this Michelle, and I deduced from that conversation that in fact this was Michelle.
So you were the investigator. You put 2 and 2 together and say, this Michelle Pogendick's out selling the same baby possibly to 2 couples.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, wow.
Not only did I find this family, but after that, my antenna got raised, so I started calling other adoption attorneys and other adoption professionals, and found out she was taking money from 3 different families in 3 different states, having them all pay her rent, quote unquote, her food, her electric, her car. She was lying about her due date so that she could entice them to give her money faster and quicker because she was getting close to her delivery.
What a scam, playing with the hearts of wonderful people that want to adopt a baby and getting money from different people at different times. Was she even pregnant?
She was pregnant, but she wasn't due until February. And she really had no intention, of course, to place one child with 3 different families.
What do you think would have happened? And I can only you know, hypothesize. What do you think would have happened to this family at the end of the game? What if they hadn't called you up? Because they're pretty smart, sophisticated, loving people. What do you think would have happened when it was time to get that baby? She would have disappeared with that baby?
Well, she wasn't due in November, so they certainly would have learned at some point that she was lying about her due date. And I think they would have lost a lot more money and had a lot more heartache to get to that hospital and be empty-handed.
What do you think about this lady, Susan and Anthony?
She's a pro, and she, you know, when we decided to contact the sheriff's department, it really was a hard decision for us because she does have 3 children, and we felt really, really bad of what would happen to her 3 kids, but we couldn't allow her to get away with doing this. I mean, she did it to 3 families. She wasn't due in November. She was gonna scam the 3 of us and then turn around and scam other people. And there's nothing stopping her from getting her pregnant a 6th time. She was 22 years old, and she was making a business out of it.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think it's just wonderful that you were smart enough to contact an attorney, and this lady put it all together. But you did some great work there. You keep up your good work in my home state. I'm proud of you for what
Thank
you
you.
did to help these people. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching today, and I always say it, please stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Never let them tear up your heart out, where's your mind out, where's your soul out? Oh, come on, where's your heart out, where's your mind out, where's your soul out? Oh, come on, where's your heart out, where's your mind out, where's your soul out?